What's going on, everyone? You're listening to Bulls Central here. Hope you're all doing well. So in a few hours, the Bulls will be hosting the Indiana Pacers for their second game of the season. And all I've got to say is I hope they can show up better than they did in the season opener. Now, I actually predicted the Bulls would win their last game against the Hawks, mainly due to the fact that the Hawks had so many guys out due to injuries, but the Bulls just didn't come out to play to kick off their season, and that was pretty much evident from the get-go. Now, I do suspect the Bulls will come out with a little more energy and aggression for this game, or at least I hope they do, given the embarrassing performance on Wednesday. And I've talked about this, multiple things that went wrong from that first game, so I won't belabor the point here and rather just focus on the game at hand coming up. Now, the thing about the Indiana Pacers, they're not an exciting team. They're not a team that's really talked about often across the league, but they're a really good team with some quality talent in Sabonis, Victor Oladipo, who's now fully healthy, Malcolm Brogdon, Miles Turner. So, and I think Brogdon particularly, he's one of the more underrated players in the league, and I would personally love to have him on the Bulls. The Pacers did win their first game of the season. Granted, it was against the Knicks, so I always take that with a grain of salt, but either way, this is going to be a tough matchup for the Bulls. As far as injury updates, at least at the time of this recording, all of the Bulls players are available for tonight's game, with the exception of Thaddeus Young, who is still suffering from that left leg infection. Hoping we can see some minutes from Satoransky, Garrett Temple, and Valentine, who didn't make an appearance in their first game despite the fact that they were available. Casey Johnson did tweet this morning that Temple hopes to make his season debut either tonight or tomorrow, so we'll wait to see on that one. As far as the starting lineup, Billy Donovan hasn't released his starters just yet, at the time of this recording anyway, but by all indications it will likely be the same lineup of Coby White, Zach Lavine, Patrick Williams, Lowry, and Wendell. I am curious to see what kind of adjustments Billy makes to this overall rotation, since clearly things didn't work out in the first game. I suspect Lowry, will likely get some time at center. We saw a little bit of that in the preseason, and if Wendell continues to underperform, then yeah, I suspect that he will be getting minutes at that position, as well as Daniel Gafford. For my keys for the game, and honestly, nothing surprising here with this first one, or different for the most part from game one. Come out with energy and effort for the whole game. It was frustrating last season. It was frustrating last game to see the guys come out looking a little slow, not fully engaged, lost on the court, making mistakes on both ends of the floor. The Pacers are a good team, so I'm not predicting the Bulls actually to win this one, as I did in my week one preview, but I at least want to see these guys come out and play with energy, focus, and and working together as a team. Second key to the game is defense. Now, as we all know and saw, in that first game, defense was essentially optional, to the Bulls roster. The Hawks were getting whatever they wanted on every spot of the floor. The perimeter defense was exceptionally bad with the amount of wide open threes the Hawks saw in that game, and the Hawks took full advantage of that. Now, guys, I know most of the players on this roster aren't known for their defense, and it was one of the things I called out by losing Chris Dunn when we let him walk in free agency, and that we were letting one of our key defensive assets walk away. But I'm not asking for elite defense from all these guys, although that would be nice. But just hard-nosed defense, staying in front of your man, knowing your assignments on screen switches. I mean, these guys are still professional basketball players. Is it too much to ask to just see some quality defense being played to the best of their ability, even if that isn't necessarily one of their strengths? And boy, I know I've been a little hard on Wendell recently, but he really needs to show up well in this game defensively. He's supposed to be the Bulls' best defender now, with Chris Dunn no longer being on the roster. And obviously, defense can't just all of a sudden fall on him. He can't just be expected to take on the full defensive load, as other guys need to step it up as well. But you really need Wendell's support in protecting the rim. That was really lacking greatly in that first game. And finally, the last key, and this is kind of a two-pronged key, but we really need to see Coby and Zach being more efficient on offense, particularly when it comes to three-point shooting. Now, I'm normally, the type of guy who doesn't want to see his team just settle for 3-point shots at every chance they can get, rather than, you know, setting up plays and driving to the basket for higher efficiency shot attempts. But this is a three-pointer league. That's where we're at right now within the game, across the NBA. And last game, Coby and Zach combined for 2 for 15 from 3, and you just can't have that from your starting backcourt. And with that, you know, also for Coby, not only seeing him be more efficient on offense, but also better at running the offense as the point guard. So those are two really combined keys into one. I really want to see better play from both Coby and Zach. I know that, you know, a lot of people are saying, well, Zach Lavine had a great game. He played the best that he could play, and he did have a good game overall, but he still was not that efficient on offense. And I need to see Coby and Zach being that, you know, lethal duo put together on the court. Now, I harped on this point quite a bit earlier this week when discussing whether Coby was better suited to be a point guard or a shooting guard, so I'm not going to go into that further. I just want to see a better game out of Coby in terms of playmaking and running and organizing the offense, as it was really needed in that last game when it was clear the offense was disorganized and, quite frankly, lost at times on the court. Anyway, guys, I hope you're able to enjoy the game tonight. This is the first game of a back-to-back, as they'll be taking on the Warriors tomorrow. I'll be coming out with a post-game video shortly after the game, so stay tuned for that. Be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan, as I post daily Bulls content if that interests you, and I will catch you guys in the next one.